Okay. I always start out every video with okay. But anyway, welcome back or welcome to gesture drawing. Now, the thing about drawing gestures is that when you see, when you got your books that you guys are using, whatever it may be, you are, they give you a few gestures. And they try their best to explain to you um, what gesture drawing is about. Or they just, they just give you a few, maybe here's a running pose, here's a guy with a sword in his hand, here is a person doing something else, and it's never really quite explained. So this is going to be over a few videos of gesture drawing. And what I'm kind of looking at right now is a book that everybody should probably own. It is the classic How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, because it's a lot easier for me to explain something, and it's a lot easier for me just to explain it by looking at some of these gestures because they work. So sorry, excuse me. These gestures work, and they work for a reason. So let's get into. Hopefully, you saw the last video where we made a stick figure, and with that stick figure, we made. I showed you how to set it up, and when you're doing your gesture drawing, what it really is basically is you want to start out with an action line. The action line is kind of dictating the overall mood of the pose. And once you got that's pretty much what you want to follow to give your drawing some kind of fluidity. And I'm not at this point of gesture. I am not. I mean, let me reiterate that I am not too concerned about being accurate. I just want to get the feeling of it. I just want to get the feeling of the pose down. I know that an arm isn't gonna look like that. I can always fix that arm later. As a matter of fact, I can do this. Or I'm sorry, I'm looking at it through this way, and maybe I can't even see this whole arm. I think I just created another pose here. Let's turn that around. So I'm gonna erase this up here. Let me explain to you what is going on with the gesture pose. Now, when you are and first, let's go ahead and put this out to where we got the face, we got the torso. Make the torso longer. We also have our midsection down here. And we got the legs. Over on this side, I'm just going to reiterate this for everybody. We want to put two balls here. And I want the top part of the leg to go, I want it bowed in. And the bottom part, it's going to bow in as well. And I could be really sketchy at this point. Very, very sketchy. This top line right here, this is going to represent the collarbone. To be honest with you, I don't care where you put it. And just about underneath, we're going to make two more circles or concepts for the shoulder. I know I told you last time we want to go ahead and use ovals. That's also really good. But at this point, it makes no difference because I don't want you to get bogged down. And also remember that the hands are going to be right below the crotch area. And I said right in the middle of here, we're going to use the belly button, and almost just above there is going to be where the break of the arm is. That's about correct. Now, how this translates is that if you're drawing a character and his arm is bent, here is the character's head, here's its torso. At what point do you stop this and begin the arm? Well, a pretty good way of looking at it is that if you're looking at these two, and if they look about even, then go with that. If it's not all the way even, then guess what? You just go back and correct it. So, and here's another thing too that's helped me out. Let's say that this pose right here, here's the other shoulder over on this side, and let's say that I want to draw this character, whereas his other hand is right here, but I'm not quite sure how to, how to get from here to here. So instead of me just, let me do this. Let me reverse that. I know that that's where I wanted his hand to be. And so this confuses a lot of artists, myself included. Is this too long? This looks too long. And so now I made this other arm over here a lot longer. Well, the first thing that I would do is I would put the hand where I want it to be, and I would put the shoulder there. And I can kind of have them meet somewhere in between. That sort of looks right. But I know that on the other side of this, it's going to be a little bit smaller because these are 3D objects. So I can do this. I made sure that this was even. I put it like this. This is his fist right here. I don't really know why I'd be doing that, but I know that it's also descending in space. And when it's descending in space like that, I know that mostly what I'm going to see is his forearm. I don't know why I would use that pose, by the way. And here's another thing I want to get across to you. In my own humble opinion, if you have an awkward pose, like the ever popular someone driving a car, we all do this. Or we all have done this at one time. Here's a steering wheel right here. Here's your person. You know it's there, and then you're trying to draw them driving a car, right? Or maybe they're in the middle of some kind of spaceship, and you want to draw that cool shot of them, and you know that their hand is right here, and maybe there's knobs or levers that they're using. There's all kinds of gadgets. This is their hand right here, and you're trying to figure this out. The thing that I've noticed about this particular pose right here is that this right here, I see it a lot, but I don't think it's as interesting. More interesting would be maybe a slight top-down view. This is just my opinion. Maybe it is me being lazy. I don't know. But I think that to have this, I think that this would be interesting if I turned it a little bit more down this way to where here's the head right here. Let's make a little marker right here to show this is the head, this is the chest right here. And then you can really see the intricate parts in there. Maybe this person is driving a mech or what have you. I always find these kinds of poses a lot more interesting than just a straightforward pose. But how does that help you out? I would say that let's take a pose and see what we can do with it. Let us take a running pose, and all I did was just look there at what was going on. So this is our action line right here. This character is running. We got the chest right here, got the torso area, and the character is doing this. Character is running. So at this point, we're not concerned. I still want to make those. I still want to make those arches, or I still want to have them bowed, or have that bow look to it, and I'm taking a pose right out of the book there. And so hopefully some of the stuff that I show you guys today, and the reason why I'm breaking this up is I just want you to get thinking. And like I said, if you see a cool pose from a comic or a manga, use that pose. Absolutely use it. because all the stuff that you're drawing, it goes into your repertoire. It goes all up into your mental book of doing this. Now, how can we change up the running to this? So we see that this character is over this way and he's running. What can we do with this character? What would happen if I took the leg down a little bit more? That changes the pose a little bit, right? And this is make this fun. Don't feel like this is a chore. This is the hard work. As I said before, the stuff that I'm showing you guys now is not the sexy stuff. You're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes, and I never want to hide any mistakes from you. That's so important to me. So let's look at that. What if we change directions of the action line? How would that affect the way that this character is running? Okay, and let's say that now this leg over here is now forward. And now this leg is back. And it's all the way back. And let's see, what if we take this here? That's another running move. And this isn't perfect over here. At this point, it's not supposed to be. Okay, he's running. Well, let's put a weapon in his hand. Or her hand. So that's another running pose right there. Let's change this up a little bit. We can do this. That changes the pose a little bit right there. What happens if we grab the okay. What just happened there? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is I was drawing in white, by the way. That's what happened. All right. What happens if we have this now? And now the arms are extended back. That kind of changes the pose altogether there. Not that much of a running pose at that point, I don't think. So I don't like this leg down here. What happens if I raise that leg up? By the way, this isn't perfect. At this point, I don't care about it being perfect. I just want to get the idea down. But now he's jumping like this. This looks a little bit awkward to me. So if you can see what I'm doing right here, I am just readjusting some things. Because all I want to do at this point is get the idea down. We can always go in and make a mannequin and we can always go in and make a mannequin and readjust it and give it the proper dimensions. But when you want to get something down, the first thing you want to remember is the action line. I like putting in the collarbone line. Sometimes I'll put in the chest because it might help me out. If I'm just kind of sketching out a character, I'll do it this way. You know. And I know the head is up there and it's not perfect. I know that I want the hands on the hips for whatever reason. And maybe I want this hand using a phone or talking at some kind of communication device. And so now all I have to do is connect it. If your upper arm looks too short, make it longer. If it looks too short, make it long. Or if it looks too long, make it shorter. That's what this stage is about. And let me also show another aspect of drawing gesture. Let me see how the best way that I can describe this. Let's say that we have a character that is, love this pose by the way. I got my line of action. Sometimes I draw the head first. And I want to draw this, but I want to do this. And what I'm doing right here is I am trying to draw this character to where he's creeping. And the character is maybe hunched over that way. But what I want to do is emphasize the fact that he's kind of sneaking around. But what would happen if I took this? I know that this is the line of action. What happens if I lower that head down now, and then I place emphasis on the shoulder? And so instead of just drawing a line, I'm now concentrating on the shoulder to give this character some kind of sense of presence. And so maybe on the other side here, I'm drawing this. So this is my character right here. I just want to show that he's creeping. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need this is the stage where you're getting enough information for yourself, where you're actually are the one that is, these drawings are for you. This is the reason why so many a lot of artists don't show you this part of drawing. I realize I made that way too big. This right here is absolutely unsuccessful. This is absolutely unsuccessful, but I'm going to try and save it. Can I save it? This right here, this doesn't have very much punch to it. This is not very dramatic. Unsuccessful drawing. I was trying to draw this person on the phone. Let's see if I can do this another way. What if this person is hunched over on the phone? And I don't know why I'm drawing this old school phone. I really don't. And maybe their hand is up in the air. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm trying to show that this is foreshortening right here. And sometimes you'll see me do this. And I'm just going back over this. I know right now that this person is on the phone. I've left enough information for myself. I'm not so concerned about an action line right here because this is more of a conversational thing. Not everything is going to have this grand sweeping action to it, in my opinion. I mean, if you're doing animation, then yeah, you definitely need to study that a lot more. But little subtle things like the way that, let's take this character for example. Let's say this character is sitting down. Let's say this character is sitting down. Okay. And this character has his hands resting right here. And so from this point I know that this character is sitting down. Now, right now this character could be talking to somebody as they're sitting down. and their body language is pretty much like that. So what would happen if I took that same character and did this? So I got the same pose where they're sitting down now, but now I got their head down a little bit more. So what would happen if... And so this is what you're doing at this point. You're just kind of figuring stuff out. What happens if their head is all the way down? It's where you can't even see their face. Now they're doing this. So you got the same sitting pose, more or less. I got it from a different angle. But you can see that you can suddenly change the dynamic of anything with just a head move. So we got him facing this way. What happens if his head is up and he's on the phone? Like something just caught his attention. So I guess if I'm going to give you guys homework, I would say go over some of the poses that you have and just change them up a little bit. See what poses you can make with them. See how often you can change up a pose and make it into something that it was either not meant to be, or I don't care if you do anything but just put a leg forward instead of back. The point is that this is pretty important for you to trying to get some gesture down. Use some of those books that you have sitting around the house already. Some of those how to draw marvels and some of those how to draw manga books that you thought were gonna, turn you into this super manga creative artist. And stay tuned for the next episode as we discuss a little bit more about gesture. Hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, if anybody watches this, it'd be cool if you subscribe or subscribe, friend me on Facebook. All right. Talk to you later.